Welcome back, everyone, here to Bronx Talks. Christian, the stove is getting hot. The trades are flying left and right. Just before we came on, Justin Turner got traded to the Seattle Mariners, so he's leaving the Toronto Blue Jays. It's going to be his sixth team that he's played for. The Mariners are making moves. We saw the three-team trade earlier between the White Sox, the Cardinals, and the Dodgers. That was a big trade. And, the Yankees, I think everyone is in a collective agreement that the Yankees still need to make more moves. I think they need to make at least a couple more moves to really solidify that roster. The Yankees did get better today, though. Giancarlo Stanton was activated off the IL, and Jahmai Jones was the corresponding move. He got DFA'd by the Yankees. And you sit back and look at Jahmai Jones, it's really surprising he made it that far on the Yankees roster till July 29th.
Yeah.
It's pretty surprising that he was able to find a way to stay on the team that long. Only got into 33 games. I mean, he provided
Yeah,
a little
outlasted
bit.
JD Davis. That's something.
Yeah, he did. He provided a little bit. I know he was a big everyone loved him in the clubhouse. He was a, good personality to have. Those guys are very important, on a team. It sucks. Baseball is a business. It's definitely hard to see a good person like Jahmai Jones go, but I think the Yankees know that Stanton definitely needs to be on this team right now, and there's probably going to be some more trades on the way. It doesn't seem like he'll have a spot.
Yeah, I mean, when Stanton got injured, that was right around when the Yankees started slumping. So we'll see. It was also kind of when they went to Fenway. I don't know if that was when the team started slumping or Verdugo.
I don't know. I think
it was
general,
pretty close.
When and he homered in that first game against Boston in Fenway. They won, and then it seemed like all the wheels, fell off, and all the major writers seemed to point back to that, weekend series in Fenway where the Yankees were just getting their weaknesses exploited. I mean, we saw the game where the Red Sox stole 9 bases. They just didn't look good at all and just decided to not play well for like a month and a half.
Yeah, so I mean, back to Fenway and Stanton's back, so maybe we're officially out of the funk. I guess let's start off and talk about Gleyber Torres because, in a way, kind of the team and the deadline almost revolves around him. I think we can all pretty much assume the Yankees are listening to offers on Gleyber Torres, which is already concerning because if he stays with them, God knows how much it's going to mess with his mental state when he finds out that people or that Cashman was trying to trade him. I mean, we saw this. It was either last August or the year before where he got rattled and then had one of the worst Augusts ever. So, I don't like that, especially since he's already starting to play better. But yesterday he said kind of in a bold tone that he only wants to play second base. When asked about Jazz coming over and how it's going to work. Jazz, when he was asked about that, he gave the answer, I'll play wherever the team needs me. Torres, not the typical answer you want to hear. And I do think there's a little something behind that. And I do think that's a little weird to say to the media. Obviously, he wants to play second base. He wants to start there for the New York Yankees. But, I mean, I feel like you kind of keep that to yourself. And I don't know. It came across a little bit closed-minded, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look, I definitely can understand his frustrations. I mean, Gleyber Torres, he hit like 28 home runs last year. He had a really good season last year for the Yankees. He's probably their second best hitter behind Aaron Judge. Torres was very, very solid. And the Yankees didn't even open any discussions about trying to extend him. They haven't opened any talks. They haven't shown any interest at all in re-signing him. So, Gleyber's probably like, what's going on here? Like, you're not even going to, do your due diligence. You're not even going to shoot me a call. Maybe we could figure something out. And, who knows? Maybe the Yankees have. But from all signs that we've seen, that just hasn't been the case. So I think there's a lot of frustration there. And then, like you said, Christian, the rumors that have been swirling over the last, 3 years about Gleyber Torres potentially getting traded. I think last year Jack Curry said that teams were calling about Torres. The year before that, there was a deal that we covered later on, right at the deadline, that was going to send Torres to the Marlins for what I think it was Pablo Lopez,
Yeah.
something like that.
I
So
think Hicks was involved too.
yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Hicks. Peraza was involved too.
Yeah.
So, but there's been a lot of rumors. So there's probably a lot of built up frustration. And, Torres played shortstop. The Yankees said, Torres, you're going to be our shortstop when Didi left. And he was just really bad there. He just wasn't good. So, shortstop, I mean, there's a lot more range involved, but third base, I mean, I don't know why you want to, play third base. He definitely doesn't want to, but typically in sports, there's a lot of times you say you're going to do it. I'm good. I'm fine. Let me do whatever you ask of me. So I understand where Torres is coming from. I think there's a lot of built up frustration. He said when the Yankees brought in Jazz, he said, I think the front office did a great job. He had the politically correct answer, but do you think overall he's happy the Yankees brought in Jazz? Probably not. I mean, if Jazz ends up just, playing third, the outfield, I don't think he'll care really. But, when that move was initially made, Torres is like, what the, he was probably, upset about that. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to give Jazz a little bit of a run at third base, but who knows? This could just be for the time being, for literally just today, until the Yankees can, potentially maybe trade Torres or something happens. But I don't know. We're going to see if Jazz can play third base. He's a very, very good defender at second base. I think he had 9 outs above average at second base. He's a really good second baseman. So, I don't know why the Yankees would want to play him out of position, but I understand Torres is on the team. So we'll find out if Jazz can do it.
Yeah. I just think it's also kind of weird Torres saying that when he really hasn't been a good second baseman this year.
Yeah, totally.
So I mean, it's whatever. We'll see what they do. I kind of think Torres, what they do with him is basically revolved on if the Yankees get someone else. If they don't, I think I think they just keep the team as it is. I mean, do you need to make any more moves? You have Dominguez coming back. You'll ideally be able to clear out one roster spot for him, and then I guess John Birdie, but I think the team could function as it is now. So, I think Cashman's obviously he's listening to everything, but if they weren't to go out and get someone like Yandy or Jonathan India or whoever, I think the team could be basically the lineup, what it is tonight. So that's that. We'll see what happens there. Another name that's kind of been flown around is Jack Flaherty. I just took a look at his stats for the first time today. Really, really good. The underlying metrics, phenomenal. And I believe he is a pure rental. So if they were to move on from Nestor, and I'm sure there's going to be a team that would be interested in Cortez for another year and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm really not opposed to that. I mean, I think that's a big upgrade. And then just looking at the playoffs, you have Cole, who's going to figure it out, and he's going to be our ace. Rodon, who kind of 50-50, but looks really good right now. Luis Heel or Clark Schmidt, and then Jack Flaherty. I mean, that's a really, really good rotation.
Yeah, certainly. Flaherty, I think, would be a really nice piece to add to that Yankees rotation. And we talked about it in one of our prior videos. Maybe it was yesterday when we went live. The Yankees rotation has a lot of question marks. Luis Field has looked solid. He had that one really rough patch, but he's since figured it out. And, he's doing well. He's starting tonight. Carlos Rodon was absolutely horrible. His last 2 starts, he's looked much better. But Nestor's been getting drilled. Garrett Cole, he's had a couple good starts, but he's also had a few really bad outings. So, the rotation right now, there's some question marks certainly there. And same goes for Stroman. His last couple outings have not been good. We've seen him, get hit hard in the last month or so. So who knows what's going to happen with that Yankees rotation? Maybe you do add someone to that rotation. Maybe you need someone. You go out, you bring in Jack Flaherty, an experienced pitcher. I think that could be very, very beneficial for the Yankees. And I think it would bolster their bullpen, right? Because you add in a guy like Flaherty. Okay, maybe Nestor's on the way out, but when it comes playoff time, you could add, one, possibly two starters into that Yankees rotation, into that Yankees bullpen, sorry, and really bolster that bullpen. Rather than go out and have to make, like 3 trades and bring like 3 new relievers, you could get some guys for that bullpen, and I think it would fare very well for the Yankees.
Yeah, I also think, if Marcus Stroman was still pitching as good as he was when he started, I don't think they would really even be entertaining this. But, I mean, you do need like at least 3 guys that you can really count on in the postseason.
Yeah.
And they're like almost there. Luis Heel, like we can almost trust him. Stroman, we can almost trust him. Nestor's kind of far off. But I mean, even Clark Schmidt was awesome. So,
Yeah.
I think they kind of need one more sure guy. Obviously it's not the end of the world. I think we would be pretty confident going in that at least one of the 3 guys I just mentioned could figure it out and put together a good start in the postseason. But this would sure up the rotation. So obviously, if they find the right deal, but Ryan, and I mentioned this yesterday, the guy I want is Tanner Scott. I think he is going to be that 2016 Indians Andrew Miller. You could bring him in the most vital point in the game, and he's just going to dominate. I mean, he's one of the best relief pitchers, if not the best this year. This guy is filthy. I would be willing to pay a pretty high price for him.
Yeah, certainly a lot of teams would as well. Jim Bowden came out this morning and said, that the 4 teams really going after Scott was the Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, and Royals. Maybe there was another team, but I know it was those, 4 teams. Tanner Scott would be awesome for the New York Yankees. I mean, he's just having an incredible year. And he's been getting everyone out. He comes right into the thick of things. The Yankees desperately need bullpen help. And you look at their bullpen, it is severely overused right now. I mean, the Yankees, this series against the Red Sox, literally used everything they've had. So they could certainly use bullpen help. And adding, a player of Tanner Scott's caliber, this guy is like an ace out of the bullpen. He's doing everything right. It would significantly upgrade that bullpen. If Clay Holmes could start, pitching better, he had a really good outing on Saturday night against the Red Sox. That was a very encouraging sign to see. So if Clay Holmes can figure it out, Tommy Kahnle's pitching to an ERA under 2, I think, in his last 10 or so games. Kahnle's been better. So, a couple guys can figure it out in that bullpen, and you bring in the addition of Tanner Scott. I think the Yankees would be in great shape, come playoff time, and, really not have too many worries as far as that bullpen goes. But I do think ideally you want to bring in 2 relievers for this team.
I agree. I also do think, though, if they were to acquire Tanner Scott, not so much in the regular season because, you're still playing for the playoffs, but come postseason time, I think they could overuse Holmes and Scott like to their advantage. I think they could be combined, giving you like almost 3 innings every game, no problem. And, both of them at their best are unhittable. So, I am pretty high on this guy. We'll see the price. Is he a rental?
I'm not sure. I think he has years of control when I first looked at his contract, if you want to look at that now. But, Christian, I think the bullpen could look totally different than what we started with this season. It already does look totally different. I think we could see potentially at some point Scott Efros come back. And I think there's a chance for some of the guys in that bullpen right now to prove themselves. Maybe a guy like Jake Cousins, who pitched very well last night, Michael Tonkin's been really good for the Yankees, although, his last few outings hasn't looked great. We were talking about the Yankees bullpen, and Luke Weaver's been really, really good for the Yankees this year. He has struggled, though, of late. So, there's definitely some guys that in that bullpen can really prove themselves and, find a spot, come playoff time. But the Yankees have a lot of wild cards right now when it comes to their, pitching staff. You don't totally know what you're going to get. I think if you ask fans, like, as far as it comes to Carlos Rodon, people could be like, I could see Carlos Rodon pitching like an ace the rest of the way. And other people would say, I wouldn't be surprised if he got completely shelled. There's a lot of that going on right now. I think the biggest thing that plays to the Yankees' advantage is the postseason is not tomorrow. They still have all of August and all of September. And I think a lot of the players on that pitching staff are going to prove themselves. And there's going to be roles that are carved out. And we'll figure out, the top 3-4 guys, starters at least, going into the postseason. And I think when it comes to the bullpen, everyone will find their roles by then.
Yeah, so Tanner Scott is a rental free agent next year, making $5.7 million this year. I would say, I think the biggest thing is like Michael Tonkin and Luke Weaver, diamonds in the rough. Yankees found them, turned them into really good pitchers. That's awesome. And I do truly think both of them, especially Luke Weaver, are legit. I don't think it was a fluke. But I think there also is something to be said for acquiring guys who have been there and done that. And I know we keep bringing up the postseason, but like, do you really feel comfortable throwing both of those guys out there?
No.
With a 1 or 2 run lead.
No, yeah, I mean, that's
like that's kind of my point, where I think you need proven relievers who have pitched under pressure. And, I get Weaver and Tonkin have the stuff, but I do think there's an element that's a little more than that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, look, we are all in favor of, finding those diamond in the rough guys and turning them into really good pitchers. But, I think you can't overdo that. I mean, it's just like anything. Too much of anything is not really a good thing. And I think that's just the case when it comes to the bullpen. I mean, at some point you need to bring in guys that have proven track records and you're 100% confident that they could go out there in a big stage and get the job done. Because, when you have guys in that bullpen that you're trusting for the postseason and they've been DFA'd 3 or 4 times, I mean, it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different ball game. They're pitching for their career to stay on a team.
Yeah.
And then you're throwing them into a playoff game, and it's like, whoa. Like, they're probably not competing on many, good teams. So I definitely agree with you. I think at some point you need to bring in someone that has a proven track record, been there, done that. And I think it would be very beneficial for the Yankees if they get that done.
Yeah. And I didn't mean that as any disrespect or anything to them. I'm just, as a fan, it's just how I feel. And I think a lot of fans would agree with that we need proven relievers there. I'm just looking when Hamilton and Birdie come back. I think Nick Birdie and John Birdie both had setbacks.
I know John Birdie did.
Yeah, so all these guys have no timetable. So I'd say 2 is the number for relievers. If they were to get like a Tanner Scott, I wouldn't complain if that was it. But the bullpen needs help. I guess we could transition it a little bit more into the offense. But I understand you can only trade the market, right?
Yeah.
There's some guys that aren't just available, but I mean, we were all going into the trade deadline, and there was one obvious issue. We didn't have a third baseman.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the biggest thing we were saying. I know the Yankees said bullpen was the biggest issue. I think everyone could agree was third base.
Yeah.
I think it would kind of be a failure if you walked out and Jazz is your third baseman, who isn't even a third baseman, and throughout his career has kind of been a league average hitter.
Look, I think, Jazz brings a lot of things to the Yankees lineup. I think he brings a lot of good things to the table, but I do agree. The Yankees, I think, definitely need another bat. I'm not going to comment on Jazz at third base. We haven't seen him play there yet. Who knows? Maybe he turns into a good third baseman. We'll find out. We'll see what happens there. Jazz, I think, is a solid pickup for the Yankees. I think he's going to be a big help to this team. But with that being said, I think the Yankees lineup needs more help. I definitely think they need another bat. I think it's imperative that they get one. And, it can't just be some, like scrub addition, like a platoon, Ben Rice or something, like something. It can't be something stupid. They need like a solidified bat. You don't want to overpay and get Yandy Diaz. Maybe it doesn't work out. You don't want to give up a guy like Lombard or Arias. I might even disagree with that. I think the Yankees should really be as aggressive as they possibly can. But fine. I mean, then settle for, a guy like Ahmed Rosario, who I think the other day when I checked was batting above 300. Look, he's not the greatest guy in the world, but I think he's a really good upgrade at third base, something like that. He's a nice, solid bat to add to the lineup. I think it's imperative the Yankees get another bat. And to be honest with you, I'm getting a little concerned that they haven't done it already. So I am getting a little concerned because if they don't walk away with another bat, I think it would be a failure of a deadline.
Yeah. I just don't like the way Cashman looks at it and the way he talks about it, where he's like finding the right deals. And I get that, but I do think that this is a unique trade deadline because you have the two best hitters in baseball. You're only guaranteed them for 2 more months. Or at least one
together. Yeah. I know.
I do agree, and I mean to a certain point, the playoffs are a crapshoot, but I think we'd all just be feeling miserable if in 3 months Yanks don't even make the World Series. Juan Soto, there's no guarantee. I mean, he's going to get a ton of money from somewhere. He's a free agent. And we're looking back at the trade deadline and kind of wondering, well, Yankees could have just gotten a third baseman, or maybe they could have overpaid a little bit to just shore that up. And it's no guarantee, right? You don't get Yandy Diaz or Jonathan India and win the World Series, but you do just strengthen your team a lot more. And, I wouldn't say this every single trade deadline, but I do think this is kind of unique where I think maybe they shouldn't be just looking for the perfect deals that match up perfectly on value, and maybe just shore up third base, maybe get a little aggressive, because this is kind of a once in a blue moon opportunity that the Yankees have right here.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, they need to be surrounded with, more help. Stanton, coming back is huge. The addition of Jazz Chisholm, bringing him into the lineup is huge. But I still feel like the Yankees need more. I mean, you look, some of those OPSs, before we had, Jazz and Stan came back. I mean, some of the lineups, Christian, they were rolling out there were miserable. And you need to have a team that, not 1 through 9, but you need to put your best foot forward is what I'm trying to say. And there's guys out there that I think the Yankees could get that would be good fits for the Yankees. Look, we're obviously not in the room. We don't know what the prices are. And, potentially the Yankees are just waiting for, prices to drop. Because once it turns to tomorrow, 6 p.m., that's it. It's done. So, maybe teams would budge a little bit. And maybe that's just what Cashman's doing. But I definitely think the Yankees need another bat. I texted you, I think a couple times, a week or so ago. I said the Yankees need 2 bats and they need 2 relievers. They've done 1 of the 4 so far, and we need to fill those other 3 spots. In my opinion, I definitely do think they just need another bat in that lineup. If you get some guys who turn it around. Like Alex Verdugo had a really good series. Maybe he turns it around. If you keep Gleyber Torres, then, maybe he, keeps up the hot hitting, and, Volpe can get on a hot streak. And Austin Wells has played unbelievable. That's another conversation. We're done with the platoon with Trevino. Trevino's a solid player, but I think everyone can agree that Wells needs to play the majority of the games, needs to be the everyday catcher. But yeah, I just think the Yankees need another bat.
Yeah, I mean, I think this 1 month stretch is as bad as the lineup can be.
Yeah.
Like Verdugo was all-time slump. DJ all-time slump. Torres kinda I don't think the lineup's going to be worse than that, but to a certain degree, I don't think we should just totally forget that. And as Boone would put it, or the front office, well, we knew this was coming. We knew we were getting out of it. I mean, I do think there's somewhat truth. I mean, when a baseball team's playing like that for a month straight, I don't think you could just totally ignore that and just call it a bad stretch. I get you were missing 34-year-old Giancarlo Stanton, but you can't tell me that's the key to the whole lineup. That's why I was almost not happy, but I was happy that stretch happened before the trade deadline.
Yeah,
because I was assuming
definitely.
that it would kind of open the eyes of the front office. Like, all right, we need a bat or two. It can't just be Judge and Soto. And, that could still be the case. I'm not saying they're not going to do anything, but I guess just as a Yankee fan, it just starts to get a little concerning because, these next couple weeks are probably going to be great. I think it's a guarantee they're going to go out and get a reliever. Stanton's going to be back. Dominguez is going to come back. And also, I think the schedule gets a lot easier too. So there's probably going to be it's going to be like a month of really good baseball. We're all going to be feeling great. But eventually the playoffs are going to come around. And then is it going to be the same story of what it's been the past 6 years? I think that's what every Yankee fan is scared of right now.
Yeah, I mean, they went through the gauntlet. The schedule does get a lot easier. I mean, they have some series against the White Sox, one of the worst teams I think I've seen in my lifetime. Oakland, there's some games with Toronto. I think that's who they play after Philadelphia. And then they play the Angels in the Bronx. So the schedule does get a lot easier for the Yankees. I think that's a really good thing. The Yankees can play some bad teams. The Yankees team as a whole is going to get better. They got Jazz, they got Stanton, might be another move or moves on the way. I think it'd be good for their confidence to beat up on some of these bad teams and, put their foot in the right direction rather than just, playing these games where it's like, as a fan, you're just watching the game and you're like, we need to win this game. And, you look at Boone, he's treating it like Game 7 of the World Series. I mean, he's bringing in every reliever. He's trying everything because we need a victory. At some point, you just can't keep losing. I think the series win against the Red Sox was big. It was on the road. You're facing a really good Phillies team. It was kind of struggled of late, but, on the road as well. So we'll see what happens there. But I definitely do think, like we said before, the Yankees need to make some more moves. And, we'll see what happens over the next, month or so. But I think, you need to bring in another reason why you need to bring in another bat is, Christian, what if we get to this time next month and Alex Verdugo started slumping again and Gleyber Torres started slumping again and Anthony Volpe started slumping again? No, time's up. You can't go out there and make a trade for a bat. That's it. And then you're just praying these guys could turn it around. I mean, we don't know what's ultimately going to happen. I mean, I don't know how much faith or how much confidence you have these guys can turn around. I mean, they're big league hitters, and I certainly think there's a strong possibility they can do that. But at the same time, I think there's also a possibility they may not, and then they could just slump again. So, look, I mean, I think you brought up a great point. They had the slump when they did. This is showing you that you need to make moves. And if you don't, I think that's just on you.
Yeah, Volpe I wouldn't call a slump. I get he started off hot to the year, but like
Yeah.
his season he's having, he's never proved he's anything more than that. Besides a hot stretch.
Okay.
Um,
That's fair.
the thing is, and this is why I really want someone to play third is I think Jazz, and this is what John Boy, I don't know if you saw the clip, but this is what he was talking about. The advantage of bringing Jazz is you can now have someone who can basically take anyone's spot at a moment's notice. So, Torres is something. All right, Jazz
Yeah.
is playing second, Verdugo not hitting, and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
But if Jazz is just stuck at third base, you can't do any of that. Now you're limited, and exactly to your point, yeah, this lineup can get cold really fast, and it's not like you really have anyone on the bench to spark it. I guess Dominguez, but we'll
Yeah.
see where he's at. Ideally, yes, Dominguez is in the lineup and he's playing awesome, but he hasn't even played a Major League Baseball game yet this year.
Hmm.
So I really think they just need someone to play. I really just think they need another bat, whether it's first base or third base. Because also first base we haven't even talked about, but
Yeah.
that's I mean Ben Bryce, I have been very impressed with, and his at bats
Yeah.
have been really impressive for someone who's just come up. But he's really going to be our first baseman or Anthony Rizzo whenever he comes back. That's really questionable too. I mean,
Hmm. Yeah.
I
No,
don't know.
it certainly is. I think you look at Ben Rice. I've been very impressed with his composure at the plate. He has a lot of really good at bats, and he doesn't seem to let the moment too big. Like when there's a big spot in the game, I don't feel like he chases out of the zone or is trying to play hero ball. I think he's just very smart and patient up there. He's going to wait for his pitch. We've seen him come through in those spots. In Baltimore, he had that huge home run that got wasted. But he had the sac fly on Saturday night, I think, in Boston. So look, he's had a really bad slump. I mean, that typically is not an uncommon thing for a rookie just coming up. Sometimes they come up, they get really hot,
Yeah.
and the league adjusts, and you have to adjust, to the league. So it happens with young players. I'm not ultimately worried. I'm saying this guy's a bust. I mean, you just can't say that. He's very very small sample size in his young career. But yeah, I mean, we don't totally know what we have there at first base. And that's why I think the most perfect guy, Christian, is Yandy Diaz, because he can play first base. He's not totally the greatest at third base, but he's played that position before. We know he can do that. I think he actually played third base in a playoff game in 22 against the Guardians. So he's played third base, and he plays a lot of first base, and he's an experienced leadoff hitter. That's where he's been batting for the Rays for a long time, is at the leadoff spot. I think out of all the guys, when it comes to offensive players at this trade deadline, I think Yandy Diaz makes the most sense for the Yankees.
Yeah. He'd probably be my pick too. I just think it shores up the lineup so much more. I to be honest, when we were going through the positions, I kind of forgot about Ben Rice. I mean, to be fair, if they were to just leave the lineup as it is, and I'm not going to put Dominguez in the equation. If like the lineup tonight was the lineup for the next 2 months in the playoffs, first base, left field, second base, and I guess shortstop are all guys who, when they're playing bad, it's really bad. And I don't want to actually group Ben Rice into that category, but three guys who, when they're slumping, it's bad. And those three guys, we've seen it this year. So,
Yeah.
Yanni Diaz is probably my guy, or Jonathan India, too.
Both be good.
He would definitely cost more India, but I mean, he would come over and he can play legit third base. I know he's a shortstop, but
Yeah.
he also
Be,
helps the lineup significantly.
be some there would be some fun storylines with India as well. His dad is supposedly a huge Met fan. Like, this guy is like a diehard Met fan. Jonathan India has actually said that his dad doesn't watch his games. His dad records the Cincinnati Reds games, watches the New York Mets games, and then after the Mets game, he'll go and rewind and watch India's at bats. So I mean, that would just be awesome to make India a Yankee. I mean, it makes so much sense to just do that, because now his son is playing for the New York Yankees, and it would just be awesome. Jonathan India also have to shave as well. So yeah, that would be a cool storyline, I guess, to have. And yeah, I mean, certainly Yandy Diaz would be a great fit, and both those players hit left-handed pitching very, very well. And the Yankees have struggled big time against left-handed pitching this year. You look at the series against the Mets, the two series that they played. I think all 4 games they played, the Mets started a left-handed pitcher every time. And the Yankees, they didn't have an answer. They've not been good against left-handed starters this season. You bring in a guy like India, you bring in a guy like Yandy Diaz. Okay, you got some right-handed. Yandy Diaz gives you a lot of power. India not typically a home run hitter, but he gives you some power as well. And you got some heavy hitting right-handers into that lineup.
Yeah. I just went on Twitter. So I guess for the last 20 minutes, the big thing is Jack Flaherty. Bob Nightingale reports that the Yankees are in extensive trade talks for Tigers starter Jack Flaherty.
Okay.
And plan to trade starter Nestor Cortez if they land Flaherty.
Wow. So is there anyone else doubling down on that? Or is that Nightingale just saying that? Or is anyone
all the Yankee accounts are embracing it?
Okay. So Flaherty, we just heard that now, Christian, breaking Bob Nightingale's news. But Jack Flaherty potentially throwing on those pinstripes for the Yankees. And I guess Nestor Cortez would be on the way out. And, the Yankees could get something for Nestor Cortez. They definitely could. Starting pitching, I mean, in this league is so valuable. I mean, a prime example is like the Rangers and Jacob deGrom. I mean, they threw this guy a ton of money. I mean, everyone knew this guy couldn't stay on the field. They threw him a shit ton of money. There's so many examples of that in baseball. The Yankees could get something for Nestor Cortez. Nestor has the experience. He's had some very solid starts this year. The home and the road splits are really an anomaly. I don't even understand how it's so possible. Obviously, you're making a trade. You're not going to like that he can't pitch on the road, but Nestor Cortez could definitely give a team value, and I think the Yankees could potentially swap him for, a bat or a reliever.
Yeah. This is tough. Nestor's getting asked about getting traded. Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of a tough pill to swallow for Yankee fans.
Yeah, it would. It would. I think for the team
everyone
too.
likes him. But yeah, I mean, it is. Wow, a 2.48 ERA at home, 6.18 away. But I don't think that has. I think that has such little to do with the actual home and away aspect. I think that is teams and also just luck of the draw. I mean,
also,
it's 11 games at both. I mean, I don't would you really feel comfortable with him starting a playoff game in the Bronx against the Rays? No, I wouldn't.
I mean, it depends. I mean, it depends how he pitches from now on. I mean, until then, but I mean, as of right now, no. But Nestor Cortez, I mean, I think if he ultimately does get traded from the Yankees, I think he'd be an awesome Yankee to look back on, and I don't think there'd be any hard feelings from anyone. I mean, he was solid with the Yankees. He made an all-star team with the Yankees. He had that, really good outing against the Guardians in Game 5 of the ALDS in 22. Real true underdog story, how he basically came that far and, made his way to an all-star team. He didn't have overpowering stuff, still doesn't. He pitches 92, 93, but he's a pitcher. He can put the ball where he wants to. I think he'd be really good story. It would be. I was thinking about this today as well, Christian. Wouldn't it be super awkward if he got traded? Because during the All-Star break, he came out with the tweet saying, I'm so blessed I play. I'm so blessed I play for the Yankees. Everyone wants to be us. I'm so glad I can play for a team that's in contention every year like the Yankees. And then he gets
That
traded.
would be. I didn't even. Could
Yeah.
that tweet have been a little bid to stay for the Yankees?
I don't know.
Maybe Cashman. Maybe it's harder to trade him now. Maybe teams think he only wants to be a Yankee.
I don't know. Hey, if you're gonna trade him, let's trade him somewhere we're probably not gonna, have to see him, especially in the playoffs. I don't know. I would try to stay away from the American League, but I wonder, do you even think, because Nestor has a year and a half of control, do you think like the Yankees would want to just like do it, like sort of do like a swap? Like, could they do that for a guy like Flaherty? Because the Tigers would have a year, they would have, this year is nothing for the Tigers, but, if the Tigers want to compete next year, they could have Nestor Cortez on their team. And the Yankees would really just, have Jack Flaherty probably, who knows, maybe they go out and re-sign him, but they definitely have him for this year. And he's pitched better than Nestor this season. So, they'd have someone that could fit in their playoff rotation possibly when Nestor at this point probably wouldn't. I don't know. That'd be weird. I don't totally know, but I don't know. I'm just thinking here. Maybe it happens.
Yeah. I don't know. This is kind of a cool stat from Yankees files. Everyone over the age of 28 in tonight's lineup has won an MVP award.
In the Yankees and Phillies lineup?
I think just Yankees.
Everyone over the – so wait, it's
Stanton and Judge. That's probably the first time in a while it's been that young, though. No DJ. I guess that's it.
No, it has to be with the Phillies, too. Because Harper's won an MVP. Has someone else has Schwarber won an MVP? Did he win with – no.
I think it's just Yankees.
Okay.
So wait, that's 4 straight games DJ hasn't started too?
Yeah, no. I mean,
good for them. You shouldn't be.
Yeah. Also another thing, if Jazz is like the full-time like third baseman, I sort of was liking what Oswaldo was bringing to the table lately. I thought if you could maybe, let's say you trade Torres, Jazz becomes the everyday second baseman, and, you put Yandy at first for the majority of the games. We'll figure it out when Rizzo comes back. You got Yandy at first, and you could have Oswaldo, at third. He cools off, whatever, you figure it out. But, Oswaldo's been really good for the Yankees of late. So have a lot of Yankees. I think the Yankees, bats are starting to come around here. But Oswaldo's been very solid for the Yankees of late. He had a really good series in Boston. So, me personally, I would like to see what, I could get a little more out of Oswaldo. But I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think Oswaldo is the perfect utility guy to have on the bench.
Yeah.
He's probably for that role, he's probably above average offensively.
Mm-hmm.
To be around a 700 OPS guy and be able to play anywhere and a switch hitter who's kind of fast, it's really valuable.
Yeah. I like how the Yankees – yeah, you go.
I think he's almost being wasted if he's starting.
Okay. I think the Yankees, they're fine. Because DJ's been so bad, but, they would just refuse to play Cabrera if there's a lefty on the mound. I get he's not as good from the right side, but, is DJ solid? I wonder what's going to happen with DJ. I really do. I think right now and for the foreseeable future, he's a defensive replacement. And it sucks to see, but he's just been that bad for the Yankees. He's a great guy, awesome dude, but he just hasn't been good this year for the Yankees. So, it is what it is. Is there any?
I don't even know about a defensive replacement, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point because it hurt them when the Yankees brought him in. against the Red Sox on Friday night when they went up by 3 runs, and they brought him in the 7th inning. And, there's actually a chance at the end of the game. The Yankees had, I think, runner on first, either first and second when DJ came up. It was a big at-bat because Oswaldo had been swinging the bat well. A big at-bat in the game. And, DJ was hitting and he struck out. So, that's a really good point because he doesn't do anything right now at the plate. But maybe I need to go to the games where he's playing because the last game I went to, he hit his first home run of the year. So maybe that's just on me that I have to do better and come out there, and support LeMahieu. Is there any other rumors we got going on, Christian? Anything else?
I'm going to hit a quick refresh here on Twitter. Yankee fan Earl says Jack Flaherty's not his guy.
He's not his guy?
No.
Oh.
Okay, here's a trade proposal from Bobby Malone. The Yankees receive Matt Vierling, outfielder.
Okay.
I need to look at his stats. Jack Flaherty and Jason Foyle, relief pitcher.
Okay.
The Tigers receive Nestor Cortez, Everson Pereira, Chase Hampton, and Yorbit Vivas.
Ooh.
The trade simulator says it's fair, but that's also one of the most inaccurate things ever.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about what about is Chafin? No, he's not with Detroit. Is Chafin back with Detroit? Andrew Chafin?
No, he can't be, or else we would have. Wait, where is he?
Is he not? Is he with Arizona? He was with Arizona.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, he is with Detroit. Why is he not in trade talks?
I don't know.
Say. So
he has thinking about.
41 games this year, 3.16 ERA.
What are his strikeout numbers?
Oh, he is in trade talks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just went to news, and he's all over. Why have I not heard his name?
I don't know. Big country. Christian, we talked about it a couple deadlines ago. I was begging or not trade deadlines. Free agency.
We've always wanted this guy.
Yeah, I was begging the Yankees to sign Andrew Chafin. I think that would be the most ideal scenario. You bring in a reliever and you bring in Jack Flaherty. So, maybe a Flaherty for Chafin trade. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think the Nestor Cortez to the Tigers can make sense because the Yankees are looking for someone to win right now. And, the Tigers, look, I think they were trying to compete this year. I think they think they're close. You get a pitcher like Nestor Cortez for 2025. I think they would sign up for that. You get a prospect in there, a couple prospects in there too. If I'm the Tigers, I think, I don't totally know much about the Tigers as a team, but, if you're looking to compete next year, I'm saying give me Nestor Cortez. I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think it'd be good trade.
Yeah, I'm scouting their whole roster right now.
This is the most you've looked at the Tigers since 2012.
Yeah, since the Torrey Hunter.
Yeah, Cabrera. Yeah. Sure.
So Andrew Chafin is definitely possible. He has a club option next year. Then free agent in 2026.
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on. Javier Baez?
We don't need Javier Baez. I'd rather have you.
I can't even find him on. Oh, he is dead last. Wait, how are they organizing these players by?
Wait, why are we bringing up Javi Baez?
Oh, okay. So he is dead last in WAR on Detroit. Negative 1.1. Javier Baez.
Yeah, why are we talking about Javier Baez?
I was just on their entire roster page.
Oh. Yeah, Javier Baez struck out on a pitch. Yes, I don't know if you saw it, Christian. He
So
struck it. The
yeah,
catcher literally set up in the other batter's
I
box. I
saw
mean,
it.
his fall off is absolutely unreal. I just think the guy should retire. I
So
mean, really.
Andrew Chafin has more batting WAR than Javier Baez.
So does everyone here.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I like Andrew Chafin and Jack Flaherty as a potential package. I don't know, but I don't know if the Tigers really have anything to offer offensively. Matt Vierling.
Why would the Yankees need an outfielder? I don't.
I guess if they were going to move Verdugo, but then you also have Dominguez coming back.
Yeah, it wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think they really have anything to give us offensively. And also, giving away 3 pretty solid players, that's going to cost a lot. So,
yeah,
look, I'm good. Keep it to Jack Flaherty and Andrew Chafin. And I think you're going to get them for a not ridiculous price.
yeah. It could show you that something's close because Flaherty. What was I going to say? Because Flaherty got scratched from his start today, so
Yeah, he's probably going to be traded.
He's probably going to get traded. Maybe the Yankees pull something off. Knowing our luck, we're going to sign off, and the trade's going to happen right away.
Then we hop right back on.
Well, yeah, we'll hop right back on to break the Jack Flaherty trade. But yeah, I think the Yankees, especially when they're looking at offensive players as well, could try to, what's the saying? Whatever. They could attach a reliever to that deal, make things easier on them, rather than try to make 2 separate trades. I was hearing something that's what they were trying to do with Miami. I think that's part of the reason the deal didn't happen sooner was because the Yankees kept trying to attach someone with Chisholm, a reliever, maybe a Tanner Scott. But I think, the Marlins are like, look, we have Tanner Scott. I mean, this guy's like in his own world. Like, we want to advertise in the other team. So I think that's sort of just what happened there. But, I think attaching a reliever would be good for the Yankees as well. We've seen them do that with a lot of trades. It just makes sense. You get your bat and you get a reliever too.
Yeah, I'm happy that the Yankees just got the Jazz trade out of the way, though. Like, I think if you have the trade, just pull the trigger. All right, I have 3 guys, 3 former Yankees. Pick one of them to come and play third base for the rest of the year. Tyler Wade, Rougned Odor, and Gio Urshela.
Gio Urshela.
Really? Rugi's having the best year. Oh, wait.
No, he's not even
never
baseball.
mind. Never mind. That was last year.
Also, wait. I don't mean to cut you off, Christian.
No,
I'm gonna tweet or DM Brian Hoke or someone, big time Yankee writer. What happened to Rougned Odor? He signed a minor league deal with the Yankees. He never played. He didn't play a single game. Did he retire? No one has said anything on this. It's been driving me nuts for a month because I remember in the home opener they signed Rougned Odor to a minor league deal, and we're like, oh, we'll see him at some point. And no, we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard a single thing. I don't know what happened to him.
Maybe he just didn't want to play in the minor leagues. I mean, so the last time he played in the minors was 2019 with Texas.
But he signed the contract. It doesn't make any sense. He signed a minor league deal.
He wanted to get Yankee fans all excited, but I mean, if he wasn't playing professional baseball, he doesn't care. Gio's having a bad season.
Yeah, no,
really
one of the people on ESPN, I think it was Eduardo Perez, who, to be honest, I just cannot stand as an announcer. But he said, maybe a guy like Gio Urshela. I was like, what? Some of the ESPN, some of the things they say on ESPN is just like so annoying. There was a thing last night I texted you about it, Christian, or for those of you wondering, they were doing the mic'd up thing, the player, I think it was Romy Gonzalez, Red Sox first baseman, utility man. He has a mustache. And Carl Ravitch goes, "What if you get traded to the Yankees and you have to shave that mustache?" And Romy Gonzalez is like, "What? No, they allow mustaches." And Carl Ravitch goes, "You just hear crickets." Like, and then he waited like 2 seconds and then asked the next question. I was like, dude, like, how do you not know that? Austin Wells is literally batting cleanup, has the biggest mustache you've ever seen. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. It's so stupid, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just refreshed Twitter, seeing
Okay.
if there were any last rumors. And first tweet is Jose Canseco saying there's 5 players in the Hall of Fame who have taken steroids. I won't name you, but you know who you are.
Yankees legend Jose Canseco actually follows us on Twitter. Yeah,
He follows us and I think 200,000 other people.
Yeah, we need to get Jose Canseco
500,000 other people.
Do you know what he tweets every day? He'll go like, "Have a great day, everyone except that one guy." He has this all-time beef with Alex Rodriguez. He tweets about him every single day. Jose Canseco, he was on a podcast the other day. He offered Aaron Judge $250,000 in cash. If he basically said, if you hit a baseball farther than I hit a softball, I'll give you $250,000 in cash. So, who knows? Maybe Jose Canseco still has it. 2000 World Series champion with the New York Yankees, Jose Canseco. He did steroids. Why not? Why not? It's back in the day. Canseco did it. He's a character. He really is. He's on social media a lot. He said if I liked one of his tweets or something, he'd follow us on Instagram. I've DM'd him a bunch, Christian. I really want him,
that would be pretty fun.
I want him on the show, and we could do it like a 60-minute style video. We do it like a 60-minute style video. Your beef, or title it "The Beef with Alex Rodriguez." A deep dive into Jose Canseco. We'll talk about it. Maybe give us some stories. I saw someone in the chat there said Rougned Odor's playing in Japan now, so I guess that would explain it.
So he still has it basically.
Yeah.
Oh, classic Boone quote. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Oh, you gotta lay it down.
It's gonna annoy you. All right. So though Jazz, this isn't Boone. So though Jazz Chisholm is at third base tonight, Aaron Boone said that DJ will continue to get opportunities, including on Wednesday versus a lefty. And then he says, this guy's a great hitter. He's working through some things. You don't want to close the door on being able to unlock those things. I mean, come on. He has to be lying to himself.
Oh my God.
Everyone knows that he has nothing left to give.
And he knows he has nothing left to give. I don't understand it, Christian. I really just don't understand some of the things he says. Dude, you do not have to throw your players under the bus. I think you'd get fired if you go, he's garbage. He hasn't been hit. Like, he obviously can't say that, but it's so simple. Just go, yeah. I mean, he's been struggling. He's this guy's won a couple batting titles. Know what he's been doing, but he has been hitting. So gonna have to figure that out at some point. He's gonna have to prove himself. Like, you don't have to throw the guy under the bus. It's so ridiculous. Some of the things he says, and the Yankees. I mean, when they slump for like 2 years until they start playing good baseball. I know everyone doesn't like to, go over the top with Boone, and I totally understand the argument. At the end of the day, he's not the one playing baseball, but dude, I mean, it's like every day with some of the shit that goes on. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but we lose 3 games. We lose the next 3 games, and I fear it's right in front of us one more time. I think I'll lose my mind. So
that's the stuff that drives me crazy. Like the managing decisions. It's whatever. The roster is on Cashman. It's just the quotes that are just brutal sometimes. And honestly, it's probably a good thing that he has his players' backs. players all love him, but for fans, like when it's not going well, it is the most irritating, as everyone knows. I mean, it's the most just mind-boggling thing to hear some of the stuff he says. So
yeah, I mean, but I think also like players sometimes need like, you know, some criticism. I think, you know, you have to have, I think, in a perfect world of balance. You don't want someone too harsh,
yeah,
but you don't want someone too like soft. Like I think there has to be a balance there. Who knows how Aaron Boone acts in there, but like some of the things he says, it's like, dude. And then some of the lineups are like when we had JD Davis and Jahmai Jones playing. Also, Christian, can I tell you something? JD Davis and Jahmai Jones, a week, what was it? A week from tomorrow, or it's going to be a week from tomorrow. Jahmai Jones was batting leadoff and JD Davis was batting cleanup against the Mets. They've both been DFA'd in less than a week. Like,
yeah,
oh my God.
that's such a good example of where the line comes in, because when Boone was asked about that, and he was saying, "Oh, we like their bats against lefties." Either he's not on the same page with the front office, or he was just lying to the fans. Because if you like their bats, both of those guys bats enough to have a sandwich of Judge and Soto with Jahmai Jones and JD Davis, and you DFA them a week later.
I mean,
they're great bats. You keep them on the team. They could be lefty killers off the bench. Like,
yeah, I mean, I look, I don't care what analytics you showed me about JD Davis, playing that game against the left-hand starting pitcher. I don't care if his number, he couldn't. It's unbelievable. Not only did those two guys start last week, we're in the lineup. They were batting 1 and 4 in the order. I mean, two of the most pivotal positions in the lineup. And now, less than a week later, they're DFA'd. So, I mean, it's just sort of like, I mean, it's what are we doing here? But, Yanks made a move. They got Jazz Chisholm. I'm excited about that. Let's make some more trades here. And
we could have another name, actually.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's super. I don't think you're going to know this guy.
Okay.
I'm going to try not to botch the name. So he's in Oakland Athletic. Lucas Erceg.
Never heard of him. Not familiar.
Erceg.
And the Yanks are interested in him?
An article from MLB Trade Rumors. He is drawing significant interest. This was from Ken Rosenthal. He's controllable for 5 seasons. He's bullpen mates with Mason Miller.
Okay.
And that's it. It does not see the teams that are interested in him. But this could be a guy. This could be the underrated move that we're kind of like, what? Like a Scott Efros type.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say
controllable for 5 seasons. Yep. So, I guess this guy knows him. Tell us about him.
Yeah. What are the stats, Christian? What are we looking like? I'm sure anyone would have liked to get out of Oakland. Especially if you got controllable years. I'd be pounding on that table to, Billy Beane and the guys. So get me out of here. I'm not playing on Sacramento turf next year when it's 117 goddamn degrees outside. I'm sweating to death. There's less than 13,000 people there. I'm playing in Sacramento. It's so hot.
Oh, I mean, this is the guy.
Oh, he's the guy.
Okay, so in 38 games, he has a 109 ERA plus. So he has a 3.68 ERA.
Okay.
For a reliever, I mean, you'd think that's not great, right? So, in your minds right now, this guy's going to be relatively cheap. I mean, yeah, you have control of him for 5 years, but you could probably get him for some no-name prospects, maybe 1 or 2 good guys. But look at this. I mean,
and that's why the Yankees want him, and that's why a lot of other teams do.
That's why Matt Blake's going to be asking Cashman to he's going to be knocking on Cashman's door and saying, "I can fix this guy." And Yeah.
Okay. So we've been on here. We've heard two big rumors. Let's get something going tonight. Because when I wake up tomorrow, we don't have another deal. I'm going to start twitching.
I think we're gonna see a late night one tonight.
Ooh, nice late night one. That's
after the game.
Yeah. I could I could go for that. Certainly. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Couple rumors when we came on. The rumors are swirling out there. It should be a fun deadline. And Yankees got another big game tonight. Two of the best teams in baseball going at it. The Yankees and the Phillies in Philadelphia. Stanton's back. Second career game for the Yankees for Jazz. And we got Luis Seal on the mound. Always excited for one of those days that he's getting the start. So should be fun, and we'll see what happens. Thank you for spending this past hour with us. And, I don't want to say it's a goodbye. It might just be a see you later because a trade could be happening.
Yeah, and we're planning on going live for a while tomorrow. We might do like an all-day thing for the trade deadline, so we'll see. But yeah, thank you for joining. Let's get another win. 3 straight tonight.
Let's go.
Ready.